Audio in. OBS in. Second take, so we're not going to stand on ceremony quite so much. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Newbie Rumble 6. This should be the fleet introduction video for the Newbie Rumble 6. We're going to go through the brackets, and hopefully everyone will get something nice to look at and see what they're up against. As I understand it, the first one in the brackets is the Fero by Des Moines. Des Moines? I don't know. I've just recently found out I've been pronouncing it wrong this whole time. This is an interesting ship. Let's hide the stats for fun. But 500mm, yep, 500mm cannon, front-sider, which is always dangerous, comes in at 115,000 materials, so it's a little bit under cost, and it is half the volume limit. Very thin though, and not a huge profile, so detections might struggle with it. It's going to be an interesting one. Oh, and of course, torpedoes. Now, the Fero in the first match is up against... God, I should have set my phone to just not close itself. Eldrich by CuthuluhWhen. Now, Eldrich is another interesting design. That was smart of me, wasn't it? Eldrich is another very interesting design. I think I've seen it entered before, not necessarily in this tournament, but I'm pretty sure I've seen it before. It might have been from, what was it, Max's Monitor Mayhem? No, that, maybe. If not the same ship, it's a very similar design and similar aesthetic choice. As you can see, huge size of it. However, if we check the volume limit, just over 12,000. So, that tells me this armor might be thinner than it looks, and it's alloy, so it's not as tough as it could be either. Nice big steam engines. I love the custom rudders. I love the raised stern too. Is that a transom? I can never remember. Laser guided missiles. Who knows what's packed into them. Detection in the superstructure, and most importantly, not a seat. If this was if I were awarding points for design, lost points right there. Every ship should have a seat and a wheel. But yeah, this is actually mimicked. Really nice design. And we'll see how it does. On to the second round. It's another Des Moines build. Des Moines? I'm still not saying it right. It is the Cirico. Now, this is a meme ship. Look at that beautiful 500mm giant APS gun. Perfectly circular. Very deep in the water. Plenty of up props. This thing comes in at 150,000 materials, just under the volume limit. And it is exactly 150,000 materials. Awesome. And, more importantly, it is at that limit. It's ignoring the champion restriction because it is a meme ship. I was pretty worried. It's a tough meme ship, but it has a lot of built-in weaknesses. So this will be interesting because from what I've seen, it functions effectively as a DPS check. If your blueprint is putting out enough damage and has decent countermeasures, it should be a pretty easy sweep. If not, you're in trouble. So, it's going to be really interesting as a lesson in ship design. See what works, see what doesn't. And smokestacks that are actually smokestacks. Very nice. Now, the Cirico will be up against the Baneling. We've had... Has it been 2 Banelings or 1 Baneling? We've had 1 Baneling, I believe, come through the Newbie Rumble before. At least 1. This is not that Baneling. This is a new blueprint by Takir with a lot of the trademark features included. These diagonal sensor arrays built into the hull. We have those large rear APS, but heavy investment on this very large laser. I love these slanted interceptor racks too. So this is coming in at 143,000 materials, also under the volume limit. Speaking of volume limits, I wonder if that's mimicked or if that's genuinely reactive armor. Very expensive torpedo belt if it is reactive armor. But while I remember, yes, I've been reminded that if your ship is under cost, you get extra materials. So the Baneling should be starting with 27,000 materials. Also, 26,000 materials. I'll do the math later. So that extra 25% on the budget might make a huge difference. The last one was potent at self-repairs, but I guess you don't want to spend 5k repairing if you can spend 5k doing damage, right? I love, by the way, the huge glass cockpit. That's so good. And is it walkable? Not quite. Well, I don't have time to go through the whole ship and salivate over every detail. So, let's keep going. I said Baneling against the Cirico, didn't I? Yes. That'll be an interesting match. The Baneling definitely looks like it has the armor penetration with that laser. But the Cirico is scary. It's got big guns. Now we're up to the UDS Johnston. Also by Des Moines. I hope that's right. If I'm pronouncing it even worse than before, I'll be really upset. Now, this is another 150,000 ship, because it is also more of, not so much a meme design, but I think it's more of just a replica build. As you can see, it's very thin, which means there's not much space for armor, and its main armament seems to be these super exposed torpedo racks. Like, anyone with a high explosive damage could probably knock them out. They'd better be, these had better be superficial, because if there's parts clipping, I'm gonna be quite upset. These guns are not huge, not a high fire rate. I think there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3. No, there's 5 of them. But, you know, we'll see. This thing shouldn't be too hard to sink, but it will look great when it's sinking. And for its opponent... Oh, wait. Look at that. We've got a cockpit with ports too. Very nice. It's the little things. That will be up against the Hallium 3 by the Lazy Slovak. Let's find the Hallium. There we go. Now the Hallium is an interesting design. No cockpit, so losing points there. But very large exposed up deady blade, keeping it stable, and not 1, not 2, but 3 hulls. 3 separate cannons, assumably on their own systems. 3 a 9-meter rangefinder? Probably. It's an interesting design. It's coming in at almost 150,000, well under the volume limit. In theory, it's a front-sider, so it should be very powerful, but multi-hull designs, well, they've got weaknesses built into them. I wonder, do you think this was copy-pasted? No. Yeah, design weaknesses built into them. The main one being that all this side armor, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 plates of side armor that is not expected to be hit. If this side armor lasts, then this piece, and then this piece, and then this piece will never be hit. And if it is hit, it'll be hit by, you know, something coming in. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. It'll work on kinetics, but it's all underwater, so what kinetic shell is going to hit you there anyway? A mystery. But it is a solid design, and it has slanted Missile launchers. Interceptor launchers. Very nice. It has rails. Very nice. A solid design. And if I remember correctly, it was up against the Johnston. It was up against the Johnston. So it should be, to my eye at least, the pretty clear winner of that match. Now moving on, we have the Sphinx, which I have not yet put in this Sphinx. I hadn't put it in the Newbie Rumble 6 folder yet. Now the Sphinx is a masterpiece of Bronze Age engineering. As you can see, the cram cannons are from before the cram changes in their internal structure. So really, Bronze Age might be too generous. These are Stone Age crams. And of course we have a Bronze Age steam engine in there too. So this thing is going to run out of materials in like 3 minutes. But it does have 2 crams. It does have an APS. Look at that engine. That steam engine used to be able to power those shields. Plenty of interceptors, plenty of redundant detections. I believe there was almost going to be a nuke up in the star. It's the right size to hold a nuke, but maybe it's not there since the nuke changes. Is there ammo in the head? Maybe the head was exploding too easily. Ah, well. I think there was ammo in these things, though. Bizarre design. Newbie Rumble 2 was wild. Anyway, the Sphinx will be being humiliated by the Silurian Tide-Stalker. So, let's load that in. By Eternaldoom. I hope it's Eternaldoom. I can't read the whole name. I'm not sure who else starts with Eternal. Silurian Tide-Stalker. Now this is a beautiful fish. Look at that thing's head plate. Single massive line down the center with... what is that? Is that mimicked? Is that a weapon? I don't know. I do know, but I'm not going to tell you. These things are great. And a very unique Dedi blade system set up here. Instead of multiple big blades, it's just single blades spinning on their axis, which gets you a really unique appearance when it's moving.
Listening.
The one problem with it, as best I can see, no cockpit. Are those shield projectors? They are. Effect strength 10, but not visible. And huge tail, which is nice, and wide enough to have something in it. Does it have something in it? Well, we'll just have to wait to find out, won't we? Yeah, the Silurian Tide-Stalker. Absolutely beautiful ship. And gonna be really interesting. And not afraid to have most of its bulk above the water. Which is always a plus. Look at that armor scheme. Interesting. Tide-Stalker's gonna absolutely smash the Sphinx, no questions. It'll be a... what type of crime is it when you destroy a World Heritage Site? I was gonna say war crime, but you don't need to be at war to destroy a heritage site. Crime against humanity, maybe? Let's see. Now we're on to the BB6 by Al. I think it was Al. I've got it written in as Al, but I might have brain damage. It might be AI. It is AL. So, the BB6. This thing is glorious. Just look at that superstructure. Look at the... I think these guns are mimicked. Look at the little mimic life raft. I'm not sure if this is a copy-pasted mimic life raft or the whole thing is original. I've seen similar life rafts, but I can't put my finger on where. We've got a mimicked fire extinguisher, anchors. Where is he? I know he's here somewhere. Look at this guy. Isn't that great? Apparently this was his this was Al's first go using mannequins too, so he's done a really amazing job. There's a lot of stuff to look at here, and unfortunately I'm just not gonna have time to go over it all, but you know, surprisingly only 2 deck guns. I'm not sure how well it's gonna do with only 2 deck guns, It seems undergunned to me, but we'll just have to wait and see, won't we? Absolutely beautiful design. Look at that smokestack. Love it. Anyway, the BB6 will be up against the Opti-Marauder by... Did I have to check? ScribblesMcGee. I don't have it written in, but ScribblesMcGee. Now this is what I call a meme ship. Only 120k, so he's abided by the champion restriction. Heavily under volume. Let's have a look. Plenty of missiles. Upgraded detections. Beautiful decorative spinners. But the real question is this a big APS? Or is this a cram? I think it's an APS, but those barrels might be mimicked. They look too big to me. Ooh, torpedoes. Exposed engines, which is a ballsy move. And small missiles down the broadsides. This is a great design. And points for having a cockpit. Anyway, I'll be honest. Wood armor, I'm liking the, what was it? B66? BB6. My money's on the BB6, but with those torpedo and missile investments, the Opti-Marauder might be in with a chance. And very nice. You never see much pixel art in From the Depths, do you? I guess it shows up occasionally, but very nice. So now we're on to the 6th bracket with the Director by Lildebil. And who's next? The Skirmisher by Sir. We'll get to that. Now this by Lildebil. I hope I'm saying that correctly. This is an interesting design because this was also sent to me by Takir on behalf of his, I believe it was a younger sister. So it's in large part a refitted Baneling. As you can see, they've pulled out that front turret, and I love the decorative arrows. That's a really nice touch. Yeah, we've got the same large missiles, it seems. We've got modified superstructure, and yeah, we've still got the 2 large cannons in the rear. How much does this come in at? Exactly, it cost a little over volume, but honestly, I've been enforcing volume so loosely in this tournament, it would be a bit weird to start being strict about it now. Yeah. Interesting. I'm actually not sure where most of its cost is. So, possibly these guns are bigger than they look. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, what was it called? I'm starting to lose my memory. The Director was up against the Skirmisher by Sir. And the Skirmisher is absolutely beautiful. Look at that thing. It's like a cathedral on a... I was going to say on a pontoon, but it's just a cathedral. It's like a cathedral had a child with a battleship, isn't it? It's amazing. We've got quad barrel turrets. That's unusual for the Newbie Rumble. I think that's my first time seeing it. And they look incredible. The shields have such a great color. I think they were stock colors at one point. So hopefully this is the updated design he sent me with the correct shield colors. I hope that was this ship. The superstructure, as you can see, is just packed in with wood, which it goes a long way to explaining the higher volume. I can't speak. And yeah, 3 guns, huge ship. Lead, which is a bold choice. And yeah. Hold on, a moment of truth.
Listening.
A cockpit. It's all we ever wanted, isn't it? And a light in our cockpit. Oh, that's beautiful. No weapons controller, but showing off the weapons would be a bit not in the spirit of this review, wouldn't it? I love the detection built into the windows. Very nice. Detection turrets are for nerds, am I right? You were up against Lildebil's the director. Honestly, I don't know who's going to win that one. They both look like good, solid ships. I think it's going to come down to arms and armor choice. If the Skirmisher has good armor-penetrating shells, then should be pretty even fight. Now, what is next? From the Depths by jeoshy. You'd think I'd be able to find one with such an iconic name. Moment of truth.
Listening.
Do you have a cockpit? No cockpit. In fact, no superstructure or deck guns of any kind. I hope this is the right version. It occurs to me that I may not have combat tested this ship. And I don't actually know what it does. Huh. Well, this is going to be a surprise for everyone, isn't it? Coming in at 120,000 materials and 8,000 volume. Seriously, jeoshy, if this thing is missing a gun, did I get the wrong version? Let me... Oh, hold on. There's a hole. There's definitely something going on here. Well, I don't want to poke around in the internals too much. I'll have to check this out later. And from the Depths, we'll be up against another ship of mine, the Dumb Idea. Let's see, where's it gone? Is this alphabetical? It is. That makes this easy. Behold, the worst meme of the tournament so far. I believe each cram cannon is 3 meters by 3 meters by 4 meters. No cockpit, but we do have a... Oh, I guess we do have one. We have 2 of them, apparently. And, yeah. No functioning AI. All it does is spin. We've got a huge exposed torpedo, which, oh, for God's sake, it's against the rules. Okay. Active sonar. You know what? Nah, fuck that. What was it set to? It was set to shape charge. Explosive, explosive, reinforced. We can keep that. Explosive. Keep the ballast tank. We don't need fins. Give it a fuel tank. And another fuel tank. How about that? Swap these over because they're in the wrong place. Now we're talking. No guidance. No ramp time. Maximum thrust. What's its max speed through the water? 70. What's its fuel duration? 46 seconds? That's fine. Okay. Meme torpedo. Meme stabilization system. Meme guns. Oi. Now we're talking. Will that do a lot of damage? Will it do none? Who can say? Surely not me. Anyway, yeah, should be fun, should be interesting. Definitely gonna get destroyed in the first round. Let's see who's next. I'm gonna have to double check everyone's missiles, aren't I? Just to make sure that they aren't remote guided. Yeah, I'm gonna get clapped by From the Depths. It doesn't even matter if it doesn't have any guns, it'll still beat me on a technicality. CL9 by Al. Of course, of course. Another really beautiful ship. I'm glad he managed to get a version to me with the color scheme incorrectly, because this is just absolutely beautiful. I love the magenta and the turquoise. Very great combination. Is there a camo pattern, or is that done entirely with paint? It's got to be a camo pattern, right? Really nice. I love all the mimic work on the stays holding up the tower, conning tower. I think that's the correct term. Is this mimicked? It is mimicked. I was going to say nice spin-blocked torpedoes, but they're all mimicked. Anyway, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 nice guns. If I remember correctly, this thing is over volume limit by a fair chunk, exactly on the cost limit, but it's quite undergunned. So it'll be interesting to see how it does against its opponent. Beautiful ship though, look at that. Anyway, opponent. Last ship on our list today. It's a returning fan favorite. It is Der Raven by Spyro. Gotta get rid of the old one before I can load the new one in, obviously. I'm very smart. Now, it has a few points in its favor. The obvious one is it has a cockpit. Can't go wrong with a cockpit. It looks like it is glass. You can see out of it. So heavily tinted that you're absolutely blind. I love it. We have pop guns on the deck. We have some interceptors. I was discussing this design with Spyro, and he had a huge RTG system in this thing, and a huge, I believe it was an RTG system, and a huge excess of material storage. So I think he ended up pulling out those systems, sticking in a fuel engine, steam engine, and saved enough for anti-missiles. So, lesson to be learned there, RTGs suck, don't use them. As for the missiles, these were called island missiles, weren't they? Because they're probably big enough to start a small civilization on. Island torpedoes, it's going to be great to see these come back. Yeah, I hope you brought interceptors, and I hope you brought a lot of them. And, yeah. That should be the brackets for the Newbie Rumble 6. Hopefully I'll start filming later next week, and we'll get some of the first matches out. Hopefully no one is using remote guided missiles, and otherwise I'll have to change them. But let's take a look to sonar. Yep. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later. There's From the Depths out. Let's get rid of OBS. And last but not least, let's get rid of Audacity after I wait 5 seconds so I have a good sample for noise cancellation.